rooms. Meditate, early vibes, cruising like it's 5. This reminds me, I need to sip on cherry wine. Take my links to connect, that will electrify. All my Donnies talking herbs to these potent times. All my sisters working hard on their shift, that's mine. Turning vibe firm inside, cause their mottos waste no time. Rolly sponsor this, the bomb's ticking quick. We got vigilantes that will make and split your wig. We concentrate on the path to be
so crazy in the early days. With the stenciling, the knitting art, the statues, everything went, you know, and I was really amazed by certain people.
Must be seen, televised, word to mum from the slums, re-reverbs, power to minds. Jam sessions is the key to your souls, so salute to the kings and the queens. This is how we go.
So when the wind blew in Berlin, like you're drawing suddenly the wind blew, like the lift went that way and then that way and then back again that way and then stop there, then we're back that way.
And then when you're in bed at night, you close your eyes and you're still swinging like this, even though you're lying in bed. Your motion is still, it's quite weird. I'm not doing that.
Chilling and billing and belling them, tell your friend in them, wishing you were chilling right here till we set again.
Say what? Say what?
Oh, this will work.
Yeah.
I think I can sit here for half an hour.
Say what?
Graffiti is just tags. First your name, that you have to have a graffiti tag name. The basis of graffiti is everything is with spray can. So you do your tag, you have your throw up, then you have your pieces. And those are the most important things that you need to know about graffiti. And that it should be preferably illegal.
Okay. And yeah, and then street art is everything else.
Everything else that is not confined to only spray cans. It can be everything that you can get your hands on and is put on the street.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
The air runs red by lowly river ends at the false bend. The one that keeps on curving.
My name is Laser 3.14 or Laser 314. I'm a street artist, street poet. Living and working in Amsterdam. I started out as a graffiti artist in the early 80s. I was still like a young kid and just loving the scene and just going around, seeing all the new pieces that people made. People like Shoe, Delta, Joker, Jazz, you know, Magic, Master. Those were Enjoy, you know. So for me it was just amazing to see all these great graffitis around Amsterdam. At some point I came up with the name Laser, I think in 87, 88 if I'm right. It's a combination between Futura 2000, is all the way it used to take it, and Dr. Air. And those were the inspirations that I used for that tag. I came up with it when I was listening to there's this band which I'm a huge fan of, by the way, called PIL, Public Image Limited. It's the band of Johnny Rotten, of Johnny Lydon, who used to be at the Sex Pistols, but when the Sex Pistols broke up, he started this band called PIL, and it was very experimental, but still this very funky vibe, and I loved it. The first letter of public is P, and the first letter of image is I. And I was like, hey, that's pi. Oh, that's interesting. And I said, hey, that's 314. And I thought to myself, hey, the name Public Image, as an artist, as a graffiti artist or street artist or somebody who does art on the street, you always try to create your public image through your work. So I said, hey, that's interesting, I'm going to use that at the back of my Laser name. And that's how I came up with it. I got an old typewriter and I started typing poetries, just because I always listened to a lot of music, and I was really inspired by the Velvet Underground, Joy Division, The Doors, Lou Reed, you know. And I just started experimenting with words, and I just wanted to reset myself. So I thought to myself, dude, you have all these poems and lines, why don't you start putting them on the streets, because there's not a lot of poetry on the street. So I started putting all up these lines, these quotes of my work, of my poetry, and I just started doing it and really liked it, and it clicked in my head, and it just kept going. At some point I couldn't stop, and I'm still doing it after I think 23, almost 24 years.
What do you like doing more, writing poetry or more into the cartoons that you started doing?
Oh, that's a good question. I like both actually, but they're both an expression of me. So they're both a way to express myself.
I notice you have all your quotes and poetry written on removable objects outside. Is there a philosophy behind it? Like maybe life is not permanent, so it can be removed, or art is not permanent, or is it just a preference of material?
In the beginning, when I started out, I just started out as a standard graffiti writer, so I used to do it on walls and everywhere. And I started also doing it on the builder boards. And what I started noticing is sometimes when I came back to make a picture, it was gone. I was like, that's not nice, you know. I just wanted to make a picture and it's gone. But it kind of gave me this idea for this, because you couldn't put the expiration date on it. I liked that idea, you know. What I liked about it, started liking about it, was this here today, gone tomorrow effect, you know. It could be there for a day, could be there for a week, could be there for a month. It could also move around the city, what I also saw happening a couple of times. So I like that idea. It's always going to be a surprise, you know. You can walk by it, you can look at it, tomorrow it can be gone, and it's life.
Yeah, that's actually really nice.
Yeah.
I like that concept. And do you have, what message are you trying to give the people who are reading your artwork? Is it for them?
Yeah, in the first instance, I always work for me, you know. It's just these ideas and these thoughts that I have that I try to put on paper or on the wall, and it's something that comes out of me. I think if I would write with the idea that people should like this or that, I couldn't do it. So it has to really come from me, and it's nice to see how people react on it, you know, because sometimes it's a reaction that I don't expect. But I don't really write for the public. First of all, it's for me and just to put my thought on paper and my feelings. That's the first thing, that's the most important thing to me. When I do art, I'm always in this zone of just getting everything that is in my head through my fingers on paper or on the wall or in written words. And that's the first thing that I do. And when I go on the street, I just put it on. And what happens next with it, I have no idea. It's nice that people react on it, but I'm not looking for any specific reaction. You know, the reaction is more for myself. Like, hey, this is something I need to say, I want to say. This is how I feel about things. This is my opinion about a certain thing. You know, this is when I'm in love. You know, this is when I feel like I'm in a not so good mood.
Yeah.
You know, it's just my feelings. And I always wondered why people react so much to my work, but I think it's because it's very personal for me. And if you do something that's personal and it's honest, and you don't, how do you call it, sugarcoat it, people will tap into it. I also have it with music that is very authentic. You kind of feel it.
Yeah.
You know it's not written, it's written from somebody's soul. And I tap into that. So I hope that my work also does that with people. But I'm not sure. It's not something I chase, you know.
We're the London Police.
We are.
I'm Bob Gibson.
He's Bob Gibson.
This is Chaz Barrison.
I'm Chaz Barrison.
We started out drawing on the streets in 1998.
1998.
25 years ago.
It was.
A long time.
Yeah.
We share our ideas on murals like this. This is all done by hand. It's like big pens. Big old pieces. It probably took us about 7-8 days to make it. And right now we're in STRAAT Museum in Amsterdam, but this was originally made in Munich about 6 years ago. If Chinny Bond was here, we'd introduce him.
Oh, there he is.
There he is. Come on.
Get in it. Get in the middle.
This is Chinny Bond.
Chinny Bond, aka Banksy.
Yeah. Similar looking men, aren't we, with our beards?
We've both got beards.
Yeah.
His eyes aren't that close together.
And we're men.
His eyes aren't that close together, are they?
I started working with these guys in 2010 when they were preparing for a show in New York, and since then it's been only uphill, only good times.
Uphill is in
Good times,
struggling.
No, it's like downhill is usually easy but bad.
Out.
I mean,
Right.
yeah, that.
How about on the flat, like no hills at all, like Holland?
Just easy, just flat.
Flat, plain sailing, easy going.
So you've been working for us for 14 years.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
There you go, in your face.
What do you enjoy about working together?
Well, we spoke about it, didn't we, the other day, about when you speak to some of these artists who work on their own, they sort of lack the camaraderie that we get. They can't chat, and on a practical level, they can't bounce their ideas off someone that they respect, kind of thing. You can always ask people, but with Chinny, we can always ask him about stuff. Me and Bob always bang heads together about what works and what doesn't. But what you get then is you get a result that is a perfect
Balance.
And also, if you are a crew, you've got different strengths, different skills that you can bring in. So yeah, you're like a multi-headed being.
Yeah, you find a happy medium. I guess that I was trying to say.
I was talking about heads.
Multi-heads.
Yeah,
like the lads. Multi-headed lads. Yeah.
I think most importantly, Bob and Chaz have an amazing sense of humor, and the fact they know each other for a long time, it already has that brotherly feeling. And I guess being able to join that feeling, enjoy the, Chaz might have said earlier, the banter and the jokes that happen in the projects and in the studio. That lightens up the mood always, and it's always fun to work as a team. I mean, that is pretty much the fun part of it, is that it is a team.
Do you have a favorite character?
Yeah, I think mine are my favourite.
I prefer mine. Yeah. Sort of started everything, isn't it, really? Without mine, probably it needs to be like Back to the Future, they'd start disappearing.
I like the characters.
To me.
My favourite characters are the ones that combine Chaz's characters and my characters.
It's not your favourite character, though, is it?
Well, it was
favourite too. The original character was the lad, which is the guy as you see here with the single lad with the numbers, but then you have multi-headed lads to the right. The dog is on the far right there. That's a Roos, which has like the long hair. There's a Gladiator there, which has the wheels. Those are mainly my characters, and then Bob's got Walk here, who's carrying the girl. Then you've got minions who tend to be all over the pieces doing little things. My characters don't have arms most of the time. So over the years we've concocted lots of different characters, and it's like a cast that you can bring into the piece. So if there's an underwater piece, there's slightly different characters, and then the stuff on the ground. And depending on what's going on, you can bring in the characters. But the original one was the lad, which is what we first drew on the streets of Amsterdam. That, after so many years, led to canvases and to murals and bigger projects, and that's when, after so many years, you start getting more inventive. Bob started drawing the lads with me at the beginning, but after a few years, he obviously wanted to have his own characters and went off for a while, did some other things, and then we started back again in 2009, having initially began in 1998, and in 2009, that's when he brought his characters and his architectural illustrations to mix with the original characters, and that's when we really started on a fresh new direction, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
To where the London Police is today, which is a big mix of me and Bob's artwork, aided by Chili Bond, who's also an artist in his own right, does his own stuff.
Do you like working on bigger pieces or smaller pieces? Do you have preferences?
I personally like the big stuff because it gives you a chance to spread your wings a little bit. I like the challenging aspect. I think a lot of the stuff we do can sometimes be a little bit repetitious. If we know what we're going to do, it's like painting by numbers. But I like it if you're given a challenge to do a big piece, like the one we just did in Miami. That was very challenging. And I think it raised the level a little bit, maybe. Yeah.
But we also spoke about how if you were only doing wall murals like back to back throughout the year, it wouldn't be as fun as when you break it up with some studio work or then a different project. I think the diversity in the projects is what makes it fun, as opposed to do we prefer big or small. You know, they both have different things. We love the projects are fun when you go traveling as well, and we find ourselves in Japan or America or South Africa or wherever. It's just that's always part of it, especially for me. I love the traveling.
I like it too. Jenny?
I like traveling too.
Yeah. Okay, so we all like traveling.
You didn't invent traveling.
No, and the studio is always nearer his house than mine. So
True.
If you like traveling as much as you say, you might want to get a studio near my house. Travel a bit further.
No, but you like traveling most. That's why.
Well, you just said you like traveling too. It's like getting aggy about traveling.
Yeah.
So you getting a studio near mine?
No, because you like traveling.
Yeah, but you could travel. You wouldn't have to travel. I could still travel to the studio. Let's get to the studio somewhere else.
I'm happy with the studios right now.
It's near your house too. It's on your side of town. I have to travel the whole way across town all the time. These two don't. They can actually pop in.
And what's the hardest part about making art like this?
Working with these two.
Working with Bob. Ginny's fine. Ginny's fun.
The hardest part.
Never feels hard, does it?
Feel hard. I think it's not hard.
Accepting that you're not going to make a lot of money, and that we're doing it for the journey. We do believe there's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, but it's a fucking long rainbow so far, isn't it?
Yeah.
To get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're not. That's not our primary. We always said we'd do something else if that was the case. But we do okay, and we get to live adventures and do things beyond our wildest dreams. If you'd have spoke to us 25 years ago, we always say that, me and Bob, if you'd have taken me and Bob 25 years ago and said, oh, you're going to do this, that, the other, we'd be going, let's do it, let's go, we're in.
Where do I sign?
Yeah. Where did you sign there?
Yeah.
We did sign.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in the end, here we are, 25 years later. We have done amazing things, and we still believe we've got more to do.
This used to be an abandoned place, the whole warehouse, and it was the storage and the place where we held the flea market a long time ago. And at some point we got the task of doing something creative with the space, otherwise it would not be able to stay inside of the space. And the owner, you can actually see him here, owner of the museum, invited some artists that painted on the outside to come and make something on the inside. And then he figured out like, it's really small, these small canvases compared to this huge space. So, and then we started to invite more artists, and that's how the whole idea regarding let's do something with an exhibition about street art just evolved into becoming the biggest street art museum in the world. I'm David Roos, Roos for Dutch people. I'm the curator of the STRAAT Museum here in Amsterdam, a museum focused on street art and graffiti. Inside you can see over 180 artworks made by artists on spot. Artists come here to paint inside the museum. So I'm focusing on different styles, a fair ratio between male and female artists, artists with a background in graffiti, in street art, different kinds of mediums. So as you can see in the back, you see the canvases that simulate like murals in the streets, but we also have like sculptures, installations, paste-ups, stickers, etc., etc. So I try to focus on everything.
That's really cool.
Because it's a place for everyone. It's a place for the visitors, a place for the STRAAT crew, but also a place for the artists. And a unique place in the world, so we try to enjoy it as much together as possible. It's pretty awesome.
Our name is Pipsqueak was here. We first started separately. We both did an art school, that's where we met. So we go way back, we're very old.
Back into the previous millennium.
And then we started for ourselves in different kind of work. And later on our work was so much alike that it felt natural to work together.
Yeah, and due to the relationship we have, the work also in a natural way grew more together before we decided to work as a team.
Okay, that's really cool. And where do you get your influences from, or inspirations from for the art?
Really, what not?
Yeah.
When we got started, it was from candy wrappers to children's toys, toy robots, just views, perspectives, city life, nature. And when we decided to focus more on to a certain theme, what we do now, usually a combination of children with large animals, the things that inspire us are mostly concerned with the mind. And then we find a metaphor in which we use our favorite characters.
If you were an animal, what animal would you say represents yourself?
A monkey. People have compared me to a monkey so often that I start to believe it. It might have to do with climbing of the scaffolding, but the cheekiness perhaps as well.
Well, maybe a cat for me.
I think she's quite right. The first layer is usually an abstract of either latex or acrylics. Then we bring on the main themes, the main characters with outline of stencil. We usually paint that black first. Then we bring back the stencil for either a middle layer, and then we do the highlights by hand, or we have an extra layer and then we hand paint, finish the eyes, finish the smaller details, make all the intersections that don't connect very well connect better. So it's a
yeah, we always work from dark to light.
Yeah, towards the light.
Yeah.
Okay, wow. It's a helpful tip for me to do artwork as well.
What message are you trying to give the people with your art? Is there any message?
Yeah, there is a message that we have to take care of nature, that especially the larger animals got less space because people take more space and they are expanding their cities, and so the nature becomes less. And well, we want to make people aware that we have to take care of them. And that's why we paint children, because we act like children. We don't think about the consequences of our acting. But also it's the next generation, so we have to think about them.
We have to take responsibility for the next generation. And the way our children face the animals is a depiction of mutual respect and responsibility towards having to deal with each other and of course towards humankind. If there is to be any larger animals in the future, we better start taking better care of them.
Well, that's a very powerful message.
Is there any message you want to give to people?
Yeah, stay authentic, that's the most important thing. Stay honest, don't be afraid to speak your heart. And stay real, that's the most important thing. And open your mind, really. Keep it open, because the world tries to shut it down.
Ensure that what you're doing is fun. I think that's really important because you're going to be at it for the rest of your life. So set your target somewhere set on fun. Like Chad said earlier, you can't really fail then, can you?
Just work on it every day.
Do as you please.
Yeah.
I mean, I think when people would want a career in art or street art or whatever, they're already being creative. Just do it.
Have a lovely stay.
Hey, thanks.
Bye.
Catch you soon. Bye.